Well, and when talking about continuous improvement or as you said, the implementation of the lean philosophy, there are two subjects that are really important to it, which is the leadership. You have to have a good lean leadership in place. And the other one, which is something we just talked about, which is the problem solving skills and the problem solving thinking behind it, right? And we all know by experience that this is a very hard thing to learn, and you have like a high learning curve behind it. So what are the main challenges you see in the clients trying to undergo this learning process, and how is the better way for them to attack these challenges that they usually face?
So that's another great question. And when I say leaders, or I will put myself in that position, because I think it's probably a challenge most of us face, which is moving from being the expert to being more of the coach. So typically we are rewarded through our lives for having the right answer, for high achievement in school, for jumping in, solving the problem, for firefighting and coming up with the quick solution and saving the day. Or we have deep expertise in some content that we've studied for years we've been promoted because of our knowledge. But as we move into more leadership roles where we are managing a team or teams of people, when we come in always having the answer, we're going back to what we talked about in one of the earlier questions. We're making assumptions around what we've seen previously, and we may not actually know what's happening in the situation. But we're also, when we come in with all the answers, we are not having the time or allowing the space for other people to develop capability in problem solving. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we end up owning all the problems because when you're going in telling everyone what to do, really the problem ends up being with you. So what I see as a challenge is shifting and knowing when to shift. When am I the problem owner? When am I the content knowledge expert that should be coming in with an answer? Or when should I actually be setting the direction or the challenge, but then helping support other people to figure out how to solve that problem or move towards that challenge. And I've experienced this challenge for myself, and certainly it's one of the things that I work with leaders almost the most on is identifying that for themselves and helping move through that.
Perfect. And I like to add something to that is that we as a company here at Pipefy, we've been growing pretty fastly as well. And we don't have all the answers. And I think that it's okay for you not to have all the answers, right? It's actually better than creating assumptions. You just have to know what you don't know, right? And I think that the problem is when people actually create solutions that they think they know something, but it's not like that, right? And that's when you get into real problems. So I love when you say that you have to shift your mind from being an expert to being a coach and actually being open to not having all the answers, but actually making the right questions, right?
Making the right questions, helping guide people. And then for the problems that you truly have ownership of, thinking more deeply and challenging your assumptions and not letting your past experiences necessarily put blinders on your eyes for what's actually happening. But really that shift from being an expert in some content area to being more of a coach in terms of a leadership role is a real challenging shift. And I see that with people who are in a role called coach or performance improvement experts. If they come in and do all the problem solving, they're not really creating capability in other people. They're just being the expert problem solver. So if you go back to what we talked about in the beginning, that was some of what I observed for myself too. It was great, and I had a lot of fun when I'd come into a department at the Children's Hospital and help them solve a problem. But I had my hand in there shaping and putting my expert problem solving hat on, when in fact it would have been more helpful for me to help maybe to lead them in a different way. So that was just a personal learning for myself, and I think helped the organization as we had our evolution in understanding what it meant to be a lean coach and a lean consultant.
Well, awesome, and thank you for bringing this quick story.